Book 22, Slaughter in the Hall. At this point in your notes, they should be all written by you. I'm not going to be doing a lot of explanations, not a lot of stopping and telling you what to write. So you need to be adding things on your own. We are going to be jumping around. This is the very end. It's a big fight scene. So we're going to talk about the first part of it, and the rest of it's going to be mostly summary. Now, stripping back his rags, Odysseus, master of craft and battle, vaulted onto the great threshold, gripping his bow and quiver, bristling arrows, and poured his flashing shafts before him. Loosed his feet and thundered out to all the suitors. Look, your crucial test is finished, now at last. But another target's left that no one's hit before. We'll see if I can hit it. Apollo, give me the glory. With that, he trained a stabbing arrow on Antinous, just lifting a gorgeous golden loving cup in his hands. Just tilting the two-handled goblet back to his lips, about to drain the wine and slaughter the last thing on the suitor's mind. Who could dream that one foe in that crowd of feasters, however great his power, would bring down death on himself in black doom? But Odysseus aimed and shot Antinous square in the throat, and the point went stabbing clean through the soft neck and out, and off to the side he pitched. The cup dropped from his grasp, and the shaft sank home, and the man's lifeblood came spurting out his nostrils, thick red jets. A sudden thrust of his foot, he kicked away the table. Food showered across the floor, the bread and meat soaked in a swirl of bloody filth. So Odysseus shoots Antinous in the throat, which starts the battle. The suitors burst into uproar all throughout the house. When they saw their leader down, they leapt from their seats, milling about, desperate, scanning the stone walls, not a shield in sight, no rugged spear to seize. They wheeled on Odysseus, lashing out in fury. Stranger, shooting at men will cost you your life. Your game is over. You shot your last. You'll never escape at your own headlong death. You killed the best in Ithaca, our fine prince. Vultures will eat your corpse. Groping, frantic, each one persuading himself the guest had killed the man by chance. Poor fools, blind to the fact that all their necks were in the noose, their doom sealed. With a dark look, the wily fighter Odysseus shouted back, You dogs, you never imagined that I'd return from Troy, so cocksure that you bled my house to death, ravishing my serving women, wooed my wife, behind my back while I was still alive. No fear of the gods who rule the skies up there, no fear that men's revenge might arrive some day. Now all your necks are in the noose, your doom is sealed. Terror gripped them all, blanched their faces white, each man glancing wildly, how to escape his instant death. Odysseus has just made it very clear that each of them are going to die. They thought maybe he would just kill one, and now they're realizing they're all going to be facing death. Only Eurymachus had the breath to venture. If you're truly Odysseus of Ithaca, home at last, you're right to accuse these men of what they've done. So much reckless outrage here in your palace, so much on your lands, but here he lies, quite dead, and he incited it all. Antinous, look, the man who drove us all to crime. Not that he needed marriage, craved it so. He'd bigger game in mind, though Zeus barred his way. He'd lorded over Ithaca's handsome country, king himself, once he'd lain in wait for your son and cut him down. But now he's received the death that he deserved. So spare your own people. Later we'll recoup your cost for the tax laid down upon the lands, covering all what we ate and drank inside your halls. And each of us here will pay full measure too. 20 oxen in value, bronze and gold we'll give until we melt your heart. Before we settled, who on earth could blame you for your rage? But the battle master kept on glaring, seething. No, Eurymachus, not if you paid me all your father's wealth, all you possess now, and all that could pour in from the world's end. No, not even then would I stay my hands from slaughter till all you suitors had paid for all your crimes. So now they're trying to argue that, we'll just tax us and we'll pay you it back more than we even took from you. This guy was trying to kill your son, and we wouldn't have done that. So the suitors are trying to make excuses as to why they shouldn't be killed. Now life or death, your choice. Fight me or flee if you hope to escape your sudden bloody doom. I doubt one man in the lot will save his skin. His menace shook their knees, their hearts too. But Eurymachus spoke again, now to the suitors. Friends, this man will never restrain his hands, invincible hands, now that he's seized that polished bow and quiver. Look, he'll shoot from the sill until he's killed us all. So fight, call up the joy of battle, swords out, tables lifted, block his arrows ringing death. Charge him in a pack. Try to rout the man from the sill, the doors, race through town, and sound an alarm at once. Our friend would soon see he's shot his bolt. Brave talk. He drew his two-edged sword, bronze, honed for the kill, and hurled himself at the king with a raw, savage cry. In the same breath that Odysseus loosed an arrow, ripping his breast beside the nipple so hard that it lodged in the man's liver. Out of his grasp, the sword dropped to the ground. Over his table, head over heels, he tumbled, doubled up, flinging his food in his two-handled cup across the floor. He smashed the ground with his forehead, writhing in pain, both feet flailing out, and his high seat tottered. The mist of death came swirling down his eyes. So Odysseus is attacked, and he shoots this guy in the chest as he's diving to attack Odysseus. Amphinomus rushed to the king in all his glory, charging him face to face, a slashing sword drawn. If only he could force him clear of the doorway now. But Telemachus, too quick, stabbed the man from behind, plunging his bronze spear between the suitor's shoulders, and straight on through his chest. The point came jutting out. Down he went with a thud, his forehead slammed to the ground. Telemachus swerved aside, leaving his long spear shaft lodged in Amphinomus, fearing some suitor might lunge in from behind as he tugged the shaft, impale him with a sword, or hack him down, crouching over the corpse. He went on the run, reached his father at once, and halting right beside him, let fly, "Father, now I'll get you a shield and a pair of spears, a helmet of solid bronze to fit your temples. I'll arm myself on the way back and hand out arms to the swineherd. Arm the cowherd, too. We'd better fight equipped." "Run, fetch them," the wily captain urged, "while I've got arrows left to defend me, or they'll force me from the doors while I fight on alone." Telemachus goes to get extra weapons so that Odysseus can keep fighting, and he gets weapons to arm the other men who are on their side. Otherwise, Odysseus will eventually run out of arrows. Telemachus moved his father's orders smartly. Off he ran to the room where the famous arms lay stored, took up 4 shields, 8 spears, 4 bronze helmets, ridged with horsehair crests, and loaded with these, ran back to reach his father's side in no time. The prince was first to case himself in bronze, and his servants followed suit, both harnessed up, and all 3 flanked Odysseus, mastermind of war. And he, as long as he had arrows left to defend himself, kept picking suitors off in the palace one by one, and down they went, corpse on corpse in droves. Then when the royal archer's shafts ran out, he leaned on his bow on a post of the massive doors where the walls of the hallway catch the light, and armed across his shoulder he slung a buckler 4 plies thick. Over his powerful head he set a well-forged helmet, the horsehair crest atop it tossing bristling terror, and grasped 2 rugged lances tipped with fiery bronze. Now a side door was fitted into the main wall, right at the edge of the great hall's stone sill, and led up to a passage always shut by a good tight board. But Odysseus gave the swineherd strict commands to stand hard by the side door, guard it well, the only way the suitors might break out. Odysseus is killing many of these suitors now, and they're just dropping one by one by one. So they're all dying, and he has the swineherd guarding a side door so the suitors can't get out and can't escape. Agelaus called to his comrades with a plan. "Friends, can't someone climb through the hatch? Tell men outside to sound the alarm. Be quick. Our guest would soon see he's shot his last." The goatherd, Melanthius, answered, "Not a chance, my lord. The door to the courtyard's much too near. Dangerous, too. The mouth of the passage cramped. One strong man could block us, one and all. No, I'll fetch you some armor to harness on out of the storeroom. There, nowhere else, I'm sure, the king and his gallant son have stowed their arms." This guy has a plan to go down and find where Telemachus and Odysseus have stored up all of their weapons, and that's what he's going to look for. With that, the goatherd clambered up through the smoke ducts high on the wall, arid, scurried into Odysseus' storeroom, bundled a dozen shields, as many spears and helmets, ridged with horsehair crests, and loaded with these, rushed back down to the suitors, quickly issued arms. Odysseus' knees shook, and his heart too, when he saw them buckling on their armor, brandishing long spears. Here was a battle looming, well he knew. He turned at once to Telemachus, warnings flying. "A bad break in the fight, my boy. One of the women's tipped the odds against us." Or could it be the goatherd? Now Zeus's daughter Athena, taking the build and voice of Mentor, swept in, and Odysseus, thrilled to see her, cried out, "Rescue us, Mentor! Now it's life or death! Remember your old comrade, all the service I offered you. We were boys together." So he cried. Yet new in his bones was Athena, driver of armies. So Athena is disguised as Mentor. But across the hall the suitors brayed against her. Agelaus first, his outburst full of threats. "Mentor, never let Odysseus trick you into siding with him to fight against the suitors. Here's our plan of action, and we will see it through. Once we've killed them both, the father and the son, we'll kill you too. For all you're bent on doing here in the halls, you'll pay with your own head. And once our swords have stopped your violence cold, all your property, all in your house, your fields, we'll lump it all with Odysseus' rich estate, and never let your sons live on in your halls, or free your wife and daughters to walk through town." Naked threats, and Athena hit new heights of rage. She lashed out at Odysseus, now blazing accusations. "Where's it gone, Odysseus? Your power, your fighting heart. The great soldier who fought for the famous white-armed Helen, battling Trojans 9 years non-stop, no mercy. mowing their armies down in grueling battle. You who seized the broad streets of Troy with your fine strategic stroke. How can you, now you've returned to your own house, to your own wealth, bewail the loss of your combat strength in a war with suitors? Come, old friend, stand by me. You'll see action now. See how Mentor, the son of Alcimus, that brave fighter, kills your enemies, pays you back for service. So Athena is trying to give Odysseus courage and saying, you've got this. Fight with me, and I will help you. Rousing words, but she gave no all-out turning of the tide, not yet. She kept on testing Odysseus and his gallant son, putting their force and fighting heart to proof. For all the world like a swallow in their sight, she flew on high to perch on the great hall's central roof beam black with smoke. But the suitors' closed ranks, commanded now by Damastor's son Agelaus, flanked by Eurynomus, Demoptolemus, and Amphimedon. Pisander, Polyctor's son, and Polybus ready waiting, head and shoulders the best and bravest of the lot, still left to fight for their lives, now that the pelting shafts had killed the rest. Agelaus spurred his comrades on with battle plans. Friends, at last the man's invincible hands are useless. Mentor's mouths have empty boasts and flitted off. Just 4 are left to fight at the front doors. So now, no wasting your long spears, all at a single hurl. Just 6 of us launch out in the first wave. If Zeus is willing, we may hit Odysseus, carry off the glory. All the rest are nothing, once the captain's down. All the men are going to try to attack Odysseus at the same time because they think once they've killed Odysseus, then the battle will be over because no one else will be able to fight. At his command, concentrating their shots, all 6 hurled as one. But Athena sent the whole salvo wide of the mark. One of them hit the jamb of the great hall's doors, another the massive door itself, and the heavy bronze point of a third ashen javelin crushed against the wall. Seeing his men untouched by the suitors' flurry, steady Odysseus leapt to take command. Friends, now it's for us to hurl at them, I say, into this ruck of suitors. Topping all their crimes, they're mad to strip the armor off our bodies. Taking aim at the ranks, all 4 let fly as one, and the lances struck home. Odysseus killed Demoptolemus. Telemachus killed Euryades, the swineherd Elatus, and the cowherd Pisander down in blood. They bit the dust of the broad floor all as one. Back to the great hall's far recess the others shrank, as the 4 rushed in and plucked up spears from the corpses. And again the suitors hurled their whetted shafts, but Athena sent the better part of the salvo wide. So they all try to kill Odysseus. They all miss and they cower. This is a short summary I want you to read from SparkNotes, but it's a good summary that we get to finish out the rest of this scene.